William Wordsworth, Preface to Lyrical Ballads, published in 1802. Wordsworth writes in this preface that he chose the subject of incidents and situations from common life in the anthology of poems Lyrical Ballads. He also chose the language really used by common people for the poems. Imagination has also been used as a tool in writing the poems. The ordinary things have been presented to the people in a special manner. Low and rustic life was chosen because in that condition the essential passions of the heart find a better soil and feelings exist in a state of simplicity. The language of these people has been adopted because such men communicate with the best objects from which the best part of language is derived. They are less under the influence of social vanity and therefore they convey their feelings and notions in simple and unelaborated expressions. Such a language is better than that used by poets who indulge in gaudy expression. Each poem in the book Lyrical Ballads has a worthy purpose. Wordsworth writes that his habit of meditation has given shape to his feelings. All good poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. A poet who has thought long and deeply has organic sensibility and greater value can be attached to his poems. During childhood, the notion of death or philosophical subjects are obscure for a child. So few poems have simple elements. The poems in lyrical ballads are different from the popular poetry in the sense that here feelings developed gives importance to action and situation rather than action and situation to the feelings. The subject chosen to write a poem is very important. A human mind can be excited without the application of gross and violent stimulants. With the changing time, people living in cities crave for extraordinary incidents. The literature and theatrical exhibitions of the country have conformed themselves to such a tendency of life and manners. The invaluable works of elder writers like Shakespeare and Milton have been driven into neglect by frantic novels, sickly and stupid German tragedies, and extravagant stories in verse. Wordsworth thinks upon this degrading thirst after outrageous stimulation. He also thinks that time is approaching when the evil will be systematically opposed by men of greater powers and with far more distinguished success. What is a poet? Who is a poet? To whom does he address himself? And what language is to be expected from him? He is a man speaking to men. He is a man with more lively sensibility, more enthusiasm and tenderness, who has a greater knowledge of human nature and a more comprehensive soul. He is a man pleased with his own passions and who rejoices more than other men in the spirit of life that is in him. A poet also adds a disposition to be affected more than other men by absent things, as if they were present. Also, an ability of conjuring up in himself passions. A poet has acquired a greater readiness and power in expressing what he thinks and feels. It will be the wish of the poet to bring his feelings and expression similar to those of the persons whose feelings he describes, and by using language that gives pleasure. He will apply the principle of selection and he will remove the painful or disgusting in the passion. It is impossible for the poet to produce from all occasions language fitted for the passion. He should consider himself as in the situation of a translator. Aristotle said that poetry is the most philosophic of all writing. Its object is general truth, carried alive into the heart by passion, not needing any external testimony. Poetry is the image of man and nature. The poet writes to give immediate pleasure to a human being. This producing immediate pleasure is an acknowledgement of the beauty of universe. It is a task light and easy to him who looks at the world in the spirit of love. A poet considers man and nature essentially adapted to each other, and the mind of man as naturally the mirror of the fairest and most interesting qualities of nature. Poetry is the breath and finer spirit of all knowledge. A poet binds together all the things by passion and knowledge, the vast empire of human society as it is spread over the whole earth and over all time. The objects of the poet's thoughts are everywhere. He will follow wheresoever he can find an atmosphere of sensation in which to move his wings. Poetry is the first and last of all knowledge. It is as immortal as the heart of man. The discoveries of a chemist, botanist, mineralogist can also be the proper objects of the poet's art, and a poet can lend his divine spirit to it. Thank you.